here in a little bit. Guys, I saw this on Twitter yesterday. Made me think it was worth at least posing the question to you guys. What players on this Brown roster heading into 2024 are more valuable to Cleveland than they would be if they were on the open market?
I had a hard time with this, by the way. I don't know about you guys.
It's actually easy.
Yeah, there was one that was very easy.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now,
but after that, I could make a case for, I think another guy that you might bring up is DeShaun Watson.
That's it. That's the obvious choice.
And,
okay.
But what's interesting to me about that is, because that's what I said too. I said, well, start at Chubb. He is the easy one, the no-brainer. You could throw Myles Garrett in there now because the contract that he signed at the time is a bargain now. If he were to hit the open market tomorrow, his number would be way bigger, and we get him for less. So I think he's a bargain for us now.
Right.
But the DeShaun Watson thing was interesting to me because I said, we just gave this man a $44 million bonus.
Right. Yeah.
And so that is incredibly
I mean, he was going to get that
punitive.
money anyway.
He was going to get it anyway. And by the way, it was a brilliant move by the Browns to
Masterful.
circumvent the cap
Masterful.
punishment. It was brilliant. I mean, they're putting on a master class in how to make the cap completely irrelevant.
Now they are the only thing now, and Jimmy at this point, he doesn't seem to care.
Doesn't seem to.
So if the
be
owner
bothered by
doesn't
it.
care about continuing to kick the can down the road, it probably won't matter. The
Right.
only way this is going to matter is if DeShaun Watson doesn't play well again.
You're right.
And they have to start thinking about another quarterback. Then it will become a disaster. If Watson gets back on track and plays well, this is never really going to matter.
It's not an issue if he plays.
I try to tell people for I don't know how many years. They'd say you're crazy. It's the boy who cried wolf. I said this cap is imaginary.
It's not. It's only imaginary if the owner's willing to do what Jimmy's doing.
And
he may be
seems
the
to
only owner in the league that does it.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
he is the only
No,
one.
Philadelphia does too. Philadelphia
Not to
does
this
too.
extent. I mean, they do it, but it's stunning the
I mean,
amount of
he
money
just-
this man is paid.
I give him credit.
And what he's gotten on that
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah.
And then flip that to the Guardians, by the way, which
Right.
are the cheapest team
Right.
and have gotten all kinds of return on their dollars.
I'd be willing to, like, people talk about it from a standpoint of being the worst trade. Let me just take a look at how, even if you think Deshaun Watson hasn't played well, how they've mitigated this situation.
That's not an opinion, by the way. He hasn't played well.
I mean, he hasn't played well enough.
No, if you're going to take his body of work so far and say very well, average, below average, total dumpster fire, he's below average.
I mean, below average. You can say below average, but I will say this.
At best, you could argue average. I would agree with below.
I can't put him average yet. I couldn't.
Here's the, and I've always talked about it. We talk about people overestimating the Ravens game. I think 11 games is the most overestimated amount of games
That's
I've
all we
ever
have,
seen.
though. G.
But I'm just
We
saying.
can only judge it based on what's
No,
happened
that's
so
it.
far.
But 11 games. I go back to it. No one has even given me a rebuttal about this. Like the rebuttal is, hey, well, we didn't have expectations for them. But if you look at every single quarterback that has been here, Colt McCoy, Brandon Wheaton, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Brian Hoyer, all of those people have played more games than Deshaun Watson. All of them.
But what does that mean?
No, I know, but
don't
that's all we have.
No, what I'm saying though is,
Yeah.
when we talk about sample size, right?
Yeah.
Like I know that's all we have, but that doesn't mean you can make an informed decision based on everything that you have.
No,
right
but
now.
it's the only decision we can make. We don't have anything else.
I don't think anybody's saying it's over. We're saying it's not been good so far.
We have to be clear that
if
to
we were
this
saying
point,
if we were saying it's over, then it's fair to say that's not fair. It's only 11 games.
Sure.
We're saying what we've seen from him so far has not been close to good enough. And there's nothing unfair about that.
I mean,
and those quarterbacks, to me, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I do.
None of those guys had ever. Those guys were all rookies when they came here.
No. But
Deshaun Watson was a proven star, and he's been nothing here.
But no, Brian Hoyer was not a rookie.
well, nobody had expectations for Brian Hoyer like this.
That's the thing is the expectations. You can have expectations for people, right?
Yeah.
But
They come with the paycheck.
those expectations come with your insecurities too.
I don't. But what?
It's put it to you like this.
Yeah.
If you played 11 games and he's played 11 games and you look at his record and you look at what the Cleveland Browns have done.
Yeah.
They have mitigated the whole draft choice thing. The Browns have the best roster they've ever had and they didn't have draft picks. You look at the cap. People say it's the worst contract in history. The worst contract in history, and it still has not stopped them from getting any free agent that they want.
Correct. It doesn't mean that to this point it's been bad. Just because they've been able to mitigate doesn't mean it's been bad. And had they not made the trade in theory, or they had gotten another quarterback or whatever they had done, maybe they'd be in even better shape than they are now.
Well,
maybe they would have won a playoff game.
Well,
we can't laud them for being so great when they haven't won a playoff game.
Well, here's the thing. We can laud them for making the playoffs without a quarterback. We can give them credit for making playoffs with backups off the street, can't we?
Yeah, no, but gee,
Sure.
I agree with that. We can, but
To a
I also
degree.
I won't go so far as to say we can cut him a little slack because the Browns have overachieved in the absence of the assets they gave up to get him.
No. I'm not saying cut him no slack. What I'm saying is I think when you talk about the totality of how well he has played or how bad he has played, I think that we've moved so far to polar opposites where some people believe that, oh my goodness, he was balling. He was killing the game before he left. And then some people got him playing worse than Johnny Manziel in their mind. I don't think it's like that. I think it's been a little underwhelming, but to
little?
Yeah, a little.
I think
Come on,
that's
G.
way off the
What-
mark.
what do you
G.
mean?
We expected him to be a superstar.
Gee,
You
it's
said he
been
was gonna throw for
massively-
5,000 yards.
So here, let me, and I thought Tyvus did a great job at asking this question, and I don't think people answered it. He said, when you look at his game,
Yeah.
and you say, what makes you feel like in his game, pinpoint why when you watch him, you believe that he's been terrible? What specific circumstance are you getting to that says this is the reason why right here on this film work right here that he's played terrible?
He hasn't been accurate. His decision making has been suspect. I don't think he plays with confidence anymore.
Those are both true.
And
Those are
by
all
the way,
true.
on the confidence thing,
Yeah.
when you're listing assets that quarterbacks need to be successful, it's often overlooked. Confidence is it. It's the same thing in what we do. I learned early on in this business, those without confidence are in a different profession before long. Quarterback is it is the most alpha position in sports. You've got to be cocky, you've got to be confident, and quite frankly, I think and the reason I'm holding out hope that he's going to return is because you can get that back. Why I wanted him to play a little in the preseason. He's got to get it back now against the Dallas Cowboys. But to me, the assets that he needs, decision making, accuracy.
His accuracy hasn't been close to what it was in Houston.
Terrible.
His touchdown to interception ratio
confidence
is not
is
particularly
gone.
good. I mean, come on, G. We expected him to be great. You're making it seem like we're out to get him, or I don't know what it is, but we expected him to be great. Come on.
Listen, but what I'm saying to you is, you can expect somebody to be great, but you also have to take in consideration the extenuating circumstances. He didn't play for a year. When he came back and played, he couldn't practice.
His fault.
Listen,
that was his choice.
But at the end, I'm telling you what the reason is for. I'm telling you what the reason
but
is.
all I'm saying,
and
I didn't make excuses for Baker Mayfield ever.
Baker Mayfield.
Never. I didn't make excuses
Baker
for him.
Mayfield was here 5 years. You've seen him
Okay.
11 games. How do you
But why- I don't understand-
there is no person that can pinpoint.
I think he was here 4 years.
He was here 4 years,
He
and I wanted him out.
over
So why-
50-something games.
You're arguing with me as if I was supporting Baker Mayfield and thought he should stay here.
What I'm saying
I don't
is,
know what the point is.
What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
you saw sample sizes of 50 some odd games before you made a decision on those guys. I'm saying it's foolhardy to make a decision.
Who's made a decision?
No, we're not, G.
Who's made a decision?
Some people. I'm not saying you specifically.
I don't care what some
yeah, but
random
G,
people on Twitter
but-
do.
but-
You're arguing
yeah,
as
but-
if I'm saying.
But
No,
we're
in
talking
fairness,
to
we
the
are.
community.
We are, because that's all we have.
but I'm not
listen,
saying-
if he played unbelievable in those 11 games,
Right.
I also would be sitting here going,
Of
this
course.
guy's worth it. Now,
Of
the
course.
counter to that might be, hey, man, he's only played 11 games. The bottom could fall out any day now.
Well,
both are true.
But the difference would have been he played great in Houston. So
Right, so-
if he'd only played great for 11 games here, we'd totally be in it.
We've got to wrap this because our guest
Yeah.
is here. But I think here's the way I answered it, and maybe it might change your mind. The question was, which players on the Browns are more valuable to Cleveland than anyone else? The reason there's just no way I can put DeShaun in that category is because I did it based on money. So and that's the way I read the question, because value. So if Myles Garrett were to hit the open market today, how many offers would he receive that are more than his current paycheck? 31.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
did the same thing with Nick Chubb, 28. With Deshaun Watson, if he were to hit the open market today and this contract was to evaporate, he'd be playing on a prove-it deal. And I really believe that.
But also,
because he's in the prove-it stage.
I wasn't thinking of this
but on the flip,
question.
but on the
way.
flip side of it, if Deshaun Watson comes out and plays near what he was playing before, he's the one person that can change the whole shape of the franchise.
Chief, with that, I will completely concur.
Nobody disagrees with
yes,
that.
if he becomes Houston Deshaun, then yes, you can put him in this category.
My only beef is that feels like you're arguing with me or Jay as if we're those fans on Twitter saying Deshaun Watson's career is over. Nobody here is saying that.
No.
I'm just saying what we've seen so far has been not close to good enough.
Right.
I expect a lot
Which,
more.
again, to go back to the preseason, which is why I was a little surprised that we didn't get to see a little of him in the preseason.
Too late
because
now.
the live bullets start firing on September 8th with a very good football team and a terrific defense. And that's a tough learning curve.
I think our next guest has saw a lot of these same arguments with
Yes,
a lot
he
of
has.
other people from
Yes,
the
he
past,
has.
right?
Let me do a read, and we're going to bring in John.